to another session of Game and Chill. We back. It's DC Black, and I'm back with another guest star. He's been here before. It's KD. KD, say what up to the people.
Yo, quarantine game.
Yes, quarantine and game. That might be the running title for this session. Quarantine and game. All right, so we're gonna use this session actually to play a little Call of Duty and to review Ozark. So, KD, if you would talk a little bit about since you watched the whole thing up until the current season, talk a little bit about what kind of happened in the first two seasons as a summary and what you thought about the season, what you thought about them since you're new to the show.
Oh, the build up for it was it was definitely like in the beginning. I thought it was kind of like cliche.
Okay.
So much. I'm like, it's another cartel fantasy. Is I guess pretty much of some dude just hanging on to survive and X, Y, and Z. But it actually turned out pretty good. I kind of describe it as like a blue collar drug series, if that makes sense. Even though they don't move any type of drugs.
Drug series. Wow. All right.
They don't touch any other work. The only thing they do is deal with the money and try to build business to launder money, which is something that I have never seen. So I think that's what was pulling me into it. Because at first I didn't think it was too great, and then like it just started to just ratchet up little by little. First season was cool. I kind of was blown away that she told the kids, which then started me down the spiral of not liking her, not liking Wendy.
So wait, you saying you didn't like Wendy because of what she was doing with the kids?
She immediately told them, like, "Fam, what are you doing?" It's like, why would you do that? Like, I mean, I know they probably would have got caught up eventually, but it's like you just did it because you were upset and stressed out. It's like, it's like, why would you do that? And then, I mean, they kind of wear it later pretty well, but it's still just like, it's just weird. And then it progresses. What happened in the beginning? I like Ruth. I really like Ruth. Like all of the stuff that's happening is the one bright spot. It doesn't seem to really tear down her world per se until season 3, but she's like, it kind of flipped everybody else when they came around and kind of just ruined their world a little bit and just keeps going down south. Ruth kind of flipped the other way, and it started going up because she didn't have like anything and experience. It was just in jail from what they said anyway. It was getting into a bunch of trouble, but even though this still is trouble, but it looks better for her, I guess, at least until later. But it's a cool series.
So you saying like Ruth? So was Ruth like the first character you gravitated to?
I think so. Cause I like Dale too, even though he was kind of ruthless. Which is the mob boss, but for the season 1 at least. But yeah, he was pretty. That's probably who I like the most out of everybody so far. Like I like Marty just because of his genius, but Ruth is more relatable and it feels realistic, I guess, in all of this. She's just like a casualty. Not really a casualty, but she's just there for the ride, pretty much. Like it's somebody who has worked for him and just keeps getting these raises, quote unquote, if you want to call them that or see them that way. And it kind of just takes off from there.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, who would you say honestly was the standout character for you in the first season?
The first season? Darlene.
Why would you say Darlene?
Because I'm pretty sure if that happened in season 1, didn't she get rid of Dale in season 1?
Yes, she did get rid of Dale in season 1.
Because you kind of knew she was like a loose cannon, but you didn't know to what extent until she did that. It was like, okay. She just blew his head off for calling her redneck, which is like, it was pretty. Oh, Jacob too. I actually like both of them. Jacob and Darlene are probably my favorite, also my favorite ones, I think. But I think Ruth is still more relatable. But the good farmer, in all like his biblical ties, everything, and he flips them so maliciously, like, it's almost creepy. Like, but I liked him too. I really wish Jacob didn't die though. But yeah, but I understand why he had to.
I mean, and I think that for me was the hardest part. Was like I didn't like necessarily that Dale and Jacob died. I think they died too early, and that was one of the things. One of my critiques of the first season is the fact that I think they died too early. Because one of my, I would definitely say one of my personal favorite characters. I do agree. Like one of my favorite characters is still Ruth. But one of my favorite character was Dale. Like I loved his character so much so that when I found out that he was going to be Deathstroke in the Titan series on the DC streaming service, I was really excited because I knew like what he was going to bring to that cast, to that casting. But you know, the season ends and then we get Dale dies. Then we get season 2 basically. So can you kind of fill in the people like just a brief summary of season 2 before we dive deep into season 3?
I'm trying to think season 2. Like I just watched all this not too long ago.
Because season two is when they're building up to you get the introduction of Helen's character. Get the introduction of Helen. We also get which I would probably say is the weakest season between the 3.
Interesting.
I would say season 2 is definitely the weakest. But you get the introduction of Helen. You also find out that and I'm still on the first one. You also find out that just the stuff that Marty is trying to get out. He's developing this plan for him to get out. Basically grooming Ruth to take over everything so that when he go and disappear, him and his kids, they disappearing for real.
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah,
then,
I remember.
And then Wendy with her conniving, so
I'm like, yeah, because isn't this the part where the rift actually starts when they start to like have different ideals and move apart from each other?
Yes. We also Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was gonna say I can't.
I was gonna say also you get Ezekiel, the kid, the baby.
Mason. Oh my God, is that where he died?
Yes.
The season he died, that was kind of.
Yes, because he got hooked on drugs or alcohol or something.
They broke that man down like toward the end of his life he had nothing. Like they broke
they were
his
using
religion.
Yeah, because they were using the boats as a way to peddle cocaine, basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Because it was trying to still get him to still move everything, even though he, for whatever reason in the world, they told him what was Marty told him, and he just couldn't handle it mentally, and it just ruined him.
I think
crazy.
And I think like why I say that's the weakest season of the 2 is that I think like it took. I mean, stuff happened, but then stuff really didn't happen too. Like it was a really slow season. It was like that season was super slow motion. And I get the fact that this was like them kind of building up to what would happen in the current season, but it was just too slow motion, just for me at least.
I liked it. I didn't really have no problems with it. But I guess because I was watching them all together, so my opinions might be a little different.
Right. I think your view is a little bit different because you got the full breadth of the story all at once.
Yeah. But Marty killed somebody for the first time and couldn't really function after he did it.
Yeah, didn't Wendy, if I'm not mistaken, kill somebody too? That was Wendy. I'm about to say Wendy, because even like the conversation they had this season, talking about what Wendy did or whatever with Mason.
Wendy didn't kill him though. She was just talking. I mean, she probably broke him down, but I don't think she didn't kill anybody. Not that I can think of. Who did she kill?
Well, I thought it was like that whole situation with the fact that them saying like, okay, yeah, it's Wendy's fault. That
Oh, she's the reason people died. Of course, she's the reason a bunch of people died. I can't remember because I noticed because she went there and told him not to come back, and he felt that was a threat. She caused him to lose his child, which broke him further down, and then she tried to talk him out of it, which is really just her trying to get out of the situation. It was just bad. Yeah, this was kind of the becoming of the villain of Wendy, I guess, anyway.
Right.
Like the embrace, I guess, if you want to call it.
Oh yeah, this is more like her totally embracing the dark side.
Yeah, it was. It was quite crazy.
This season.
Yeah.
The second season, rather.
So I was like, it was pretty crazy.
Now, did your favorite still stay the same in the second season?
I think so. Because I think that one was more about separation that season, and just ideas. It seemed like this. Marty was at odds with his wife.
Okay.
Ruth and Wyatt split up. And I think this is also the season where Darlene and Jacob split up or tried to kill each other. But
yeah, because
so
Jacob
I think that was kind of the theme.
Second season.
Yeah, that was like, it was crazy to see her, like, her little backstory thing too, because she was always just this wild person. Like, she shows up, he's talking to some chick. She shows up and says, "Come over here, you want to ride your life?"
Oh,
and then he leaves. She's been that way forever.
Bro, and I think that's why, like, I wanted you to talk about it, because you have such a fresh perspective since you watched it all happen at once. Like, she basically straight up told him, "Hey, yo, come with me." And he was like, he looked at the girl that he was with, looked at her and was like, "All right, deuces." But
he was like, he thought about it for a second, was like, you know what?
But lost everything too. And I think that was the thing that I liked about that episode, was the fact that, like, you see that he lost everything because of Darlene. Because she freaking
that's the other thing, though. Because I don't know if because that's the other thing. Did he lose everything? It was like, it kind of seemed like he made this choice. That was never the duality they were doing in this thing. But they kept saying, I think it was that season anyway, where they kept saying it was just this thing about choices and free will, which tied into the biblical aspect of it. And with Mason, because she kept saying, Wendy was saying, we did this, we got to fix this. And then Marty was like, no, he made his own decision. This is his own problem. We just do what we need to do to get it to survive, pretty much. Which was like, and this is kind of seems the same way with Jacob. So to me, I don't view it that way. I view it as he wanted a more exciting life. She provided at the time, and he rolled with the punches, and that was his decision. I don't know if he lost everything, because at this point when we see he's successful in this.
He lost everything in the sense, like, ultimately he lost his life. Like, he's because of that same he decision. Lost his life. Yeah, because he chose her, he ended up losing his life, and the woman he loved killed him.
I mean, he was gonna kill her too, so it was like he kind of knew the game. So,
but truth be told, Darlene really did need to die, and she still does. Like, make no mistake, my opinion of her did not change.
Well, it was a scene around that time. I don't remember. I think it was that same episode, where he was echoing something similar to what I'm saying. He was like, she was like, these Marty Birds ruined our lives, X, Y, and Z. Now, in our perspective of what you're saying, well, look like Darlene ruined his. He said that we made these decisions, we have to do anything. There's no point in looking back. We have to move forward. That's pretty much how I came to that conclusion. Like, it didn't seem that way, at least to him, in his eyes anyway. But it was pretty crazy.
Right. So
I really liked this character though.
I did too. So, kind of moving forward, now we can talk in depth with 3. By the way, if you wasn't aware already, this is spoilers. So, spoilers for season 3. I didn't want to say spoiler alert for season 1 and 2, because I mean season 1 and 2 is like really old.
Oh yeah, but they probably, you never know.
I mean,
But
so
because I kept speaking in the past.
right. So season 1 and 2, if you haven't seen season 1 and 2, it's kind of on you. But now season 3. Spoiler alert! I want to just say again, this will be spoiler alert. So if you have not seen season 3, probably don't want to listen to the next, I don't know, however many amount of minutes we're gonna talk about this. So season 3. What if you could describe season 3 in one word? How would you describe it?
All in. Coincidentally. All in? Yeah, that's really what it is. Because at that point they have no other options.
And I suddenly said one word, but okay, I'll take it.
I mean, it's a phrase. It works. I don't know. One word.
I'll say phrase. I'll say phrase. It's fine.
I can't really. I want to say a breath of fresh air, almost. Even that's a phrase too.
It's fine. We can stick with a phrase. It's okay.
Okay. So I'm like, because it's like, so the other 2 seasons I think are good. I don't have any gripes about them. They just didn't blow me away until episode 4. That was just, I'm still in awe of this. Like the setup between, you get to see Marty's, why he thinks the way he does, and it's like, it's pretty insane. Like, cause it starts off with him being captured by Navarro, the drug lord, and he
well, it doesn't start that way, but
well, that's how I kind of remember it anyway. He's pretty much walking in his cell anyway. This is how I kind of remember it. He's walking in his cell.
Are you talking about that episode specifically, or are you talking about
specifically that episode, which is boss fight? It's just amazing. Like, he's talking, he's in the cell after he gets kidnapped. I think the last episode, he's in this little room. We put him in. He starts pacing. I can't remember what song he was singing, but he was singing it, and then it flashes back to him as a child singing the same thing. Like, his coping mechanism, pretty much. That's what he does, and it shows you he's been this way for a long time. His mom was telling him not to do it. She was smoking a cigarette in the hospital also, but which is kind of crazy.
Well, I mean, in the 60s, in the 50s and 60s, they did that. That was something that was to a T. I mean, that was something that was just dumb.
It's still crazy to be like. I mean, I guess they probably didn't know back then, but it's still like, that's still wild. But his pretty much it goes to he's trying to cope. Well, I'm assuming that was his father passing. Just trying to cope, and his mom just told him to stop, and he walks out the room and then goes to the arcade game, and then from there it becomes an obsession because he didn't realize somebody know what he didn't rush you. He didn't realize that this game he's trying to win is rigged, and he's like, the only way to win is to put my money into it, and even then you know it's still rigged, so you might not actually win, but you know you have to sink quarters in to even have a shot to play. And you start to see the resemblance in his deals with the cartel, which is like it was just beauty to me in this anyway. This idea of like it's all being in the game. Yeah, like he's already in the game. You have to put your quarters in, and it comes to a scene where he's like, he put a quarter in. And it flips back to him and Navarro when he pulled him out the cell and he actually noticed he won again. And he's like, you know what? He pretty much, I think he said he wanted something, but then he showed him the flag to count. And it was symbolic of him just BSing. Him as putting in, it was symbolic of him BSing to fix the account, which was a lot easier than what he made it seem like.
Right.
So he would become more valuable to Navarro, which is like, it was just amazing. Like the colors, in Navarro in that same scene, I believe it was the church windows that were behind him, which is also crazy when he says, "What do you want?" It's like it's insane. Like, and it's like this duality of the metaphor. It was pure beauty to me. Like
now,
I'm still blown away.
Now, one of the things I found interesting was the fact that it wasn't necessarily that episode. But I thought what was interesting was the episode, and this is what still sticks out to me. as probably the best episode in that entire season,
Mm.
or which it is the best episode of the entire season in my opinion. But the opening monologue of Wendy's brother,
Oh, Ben, yeah, that was kind
displaying
of crazy.
just what a person that struggles with a mental disability is what that's like, being bipolar.
Yeah, that was wild. Like,
What
and
that's
then at
like
the end
for
of
that
all of
person,
it,
right? What the end
he
of
was
it,
like, yeah, he was like, it was. He said, he talking to the cab driver, like, yeah, all that, but yeah, I'm having a good day. How about you? I'm like, whoa, like,
right?
And then it just cuts away, and like you already know what's gonna happen to him anyway toward the end of the season. So it's like it feels so wrong, like, and he's just trying to live, like.
But for a person like that, that's what it may be like for them. And I like how we got a window into that with this character. I think his character is probably I think his character was a really good character and probably one of the most standout characters. And and the moment that made me chuckle was the moment where where after he went off on Helen's daughter,
Mm-hmm.
he goes back to Ruth's little trailer, and he's basically talking about like going off on Marty, and then he says, "Yeah, I went after I had to tell this woman's daughter that she works for a drug cartel," and they was like, "Wait, you did what?" He was like, "Was her daughter there? Did you speak to her daughter?" And then he was like, "Yeah, I spoke to her." And so Ruth had to run in and go grab the salt off and was like, "Get in the car." And then she was like, "It's like," and then he was like, "Have you lost your mind? Like, she will freaking kill you. Like, get in the doggone car." And then like him and the way he just looked so startled. And some of you guys that maybe watched Iron Fist might recognize the guy because he is the actor that was Iron Fist's brother in the Iron Fist series. That was the same actor. I can't think of his name right now, but it's the same actor. So you might recognize that guy if you watched the show. I cannot believe I just died like that. But yeah, like I think that was like my standout moment and episode. Now my favorite character was still Ruth. It solidified that it was this season solidified the fact that Ruth is like the MVP of this entire show. Just how she went in, it's just like she went hard on like every character this season. Especially Marty. Like she went so hard on Marty. Especially like when they were at the casino, and she went hard on Marty talking when they were kind of doing like the little scam or whatever, and she was like, "How about you get your own freaking house in order?" This how she went hard on him.
She was like, "I just did what? And you said what?" It's like, "No, you better get that straight right now." And hung up the phone. It's like, "You got it?"
I was like, "Bro, she going hard. Why she go hard on him like that?" I was like, "That
deserved it."
Marty did deserve it, but like, I just wasn't expecting her to like go hard on him like that at all. That was not my expectations of like how that conversation was gonna go.
Yeah.
But yeah, like she completely went in on Marty, and like you said, rightly so. Like Marty was just at that moment, like Marty was kind of spiraling, and he just continued to spiral this season, I think, until he met with Navarro, and then he finally snapped.
Yep, it was like, you know what? I'll do whatever. At this point, I guess if this was what it calls for, he just went in, and then that's kind of the resolve. I think toward the end of all this, I almost got blown that part.
But I think like there's gonna be consequences for that, though, in my opinion.
For him doing that?
Yes, because I think in him having that attitude, he's gonna start doing reckless stuff.
He's already.
Well,
doing reckless stuff.
Yeah, he's doing reckless stuff, but I'm talking about taking unnecessary risks. Like trying to turn an FBI agent to me is an unnecessary risk.
Well, he had nothing else to do because at that point they had to figure out something, because Helen's putting pressure on him to to get them killed pretty much, and so she could take over. And it was just like, all right, well, I have no other choice but to just put another point in the machine pretty much. I never liked her. Like, from her initial entrance, which was shocking because it was a woman, like, in something like this, for like the woman to be that monstrous and like cold, it's like it was kind of shocking me when she got out the car that first time. But
I mean, ultimately, that's how Wendy is turning out, though. Like,
I know,
Wendy
which is crazy.
The same way.
I know, which is like the craziest part of it. Like, I don't think Wendy is as cold as Helen, though. Like,
oh no,
she didn't. She didn't. I thought she would be colder towards it, but she still had these, I want to say, human elements or compassionate ways to a sense. Helen does not seem like she has any of that. It's just like, get it done or somebody dies, and that's the end. And it's hers is kind of like, I don't want to do this. I still don't want to do this. Please stop making me do this. All right, I gotta call in the hit. Like, that's kind of how I see Wendy, at least anyway.
Helen
which
or
was
Wendy?
Like, Wendy. That's kind of how I see Wendy. Helen is kind of just, it's just here, do it. You didn't do it. All right, we gotta handle this ourselves. Let's kill him, take him out the game, and that's a wrap.
Yeah, like,
but she's still, like, even with her killing her brother Ben, which is like, she didn't want to do this. Like, it took like 40 minutes for her to even get to the part where we knew he kept doing it, like, and she still didn't want to do it, like.
Yeah, because he was acting out of pocket. Like, each time I saw him, like, especially that moment when it was the benefit and he just started acting a plum. He went there acting a plum fool, and then he just kept and continued to act out of pocket. But what's interesting is just the dynamic between, and maybe we can kind of dive into this a little bit. It's the dynamic between him. I keep forgetting his name. But the dynamic between him, Ben, yes. The dynamic between Ben and their son.
Oh. Yeah, because they were cool.
Right, but if you remember the first season, they were talking about Ben. They had mentioned and talked about Ben, but they were saying like, oh well, he was going to their son might end up being like Ben because of how he was acting.
Oh yeah, because he was okay with pretty much picking with dead animals and things like that.
Right, picking up dead animals, being standoffish, like being gravitating, just shooting a gun. Which, I mean, maybe that's why he wanted to shoot a gun, but he was just being like that real crazy, that real crazy dude.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it. I still don't kind of see him that way, though. I guess you can draw some parallels. To him,
after this, that final scene. Oh yeah, I draw them parallels.
I mean, I don't know if that works. I mean, I guess it could, but it's like, it's a nuclear episode just happened in this child's life, pretty much. Doesn't know how to respond to it. He's in a world of pretty much pain and lacks empathy mostly from anywhere. But this one kind of turns him pretty much, where he talks trash to his mom. He tells his sister to leave him alone, pretty much. And he's just, at this point, he's just going into this manic depressive state. It seems like he picks up the ashes toward the end of it and just runs his hands through it, like this is really what the value of his life was, and just lost his mind. Like, I don't know if that means he's like that, but that's different from like him just being upset. And also, I think what's weird is like all of Ben's episodes seem reasonable to me, which is crazy to say. Like,
what do you mean reasonable?
So like he beat up the dude in the bar because he was upset that.
That's not. So beating up a stranger is completely reasonable. Like,
no, I mean like you can see why he was upset. Not reason. Maybe that's the wrong word. Like, but you can see what was happening. Like, it weren't just random things. Like, it was something happened to the woman he loved, so he was upset and he couldn't get there. And he just took it out on somebody else pretty much. Right. And the same thing happens again. Like, even though he's upset at Helen and her daughter, or not his daughter, but Helen, he doesn't hurt her or her daughter. He just yells at them pretty much and then leaves. Like, it's not like he was doing anything that actually hurt people. Like that's the part that kind of hit home the most. It was like, great, I've never been there, but when they put him in the home, which is like he don't belong there. It's like he really didn't to me. Like it was like it was kind of scary. It was like I'm supposed to be here, and I know I'm not like this, or pretty much like this. I say about bipolar disorder didn't seem as bad as it seemed, even though he went off the pills specifically so he could have sex with Ruth, pretty much, which is honorable, I suppose. But it's weird. Like the deemed crazy person is flipping out at things that most natural people will be, which is kind of like this irony and all this,
right?
Which is crazy. But I don't think he really started. Jonah really started dealing with that until the last thing. But I don't really see him that way, even though I guess he does some creepy things, like when he asks old girl how she want to die.
Right.
But I don't see him
like when he did that. Like when he did that, he's like, "Oh, so what would be your way to the way you want to die?" It's like, what? Like what type of question is that?
That's the game he ran.
It's like, dude, what's your problem? Like, that's not what you do. What you say to a girl you like, hey, yo, so hey, I like you. If you had a choice of how you would die, how would you die? Like, what?
It was amazing.
It was weird, but it shows, like you said, his awkwardness. Like the fact that him and his sister are caught up in a world that like they should not be in. Like they shouldn't be in this world at all. But I think like
she did try to leave. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I forgot she tried to actually.
But it worked though.
Lock her way out the family.
The crazy thing is she got out the family, but then she walked back in. But
I know.
Which I'm like, when she did that in the second, when she did that, I was like, you stupid, because there's no way.
You stupid.
Like you stupid. Like you had your golden ticket. The cartel wouldn't have came after you. It would have been done. You cut ties, and it was like it wasn't like he was out there trying to investigate them. You just wanted to live a normal life.
She's young and naive though. Also, like from just her mom's trying to influence her to stay, which is like.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, she got out. She technically did get out, but then she walked right back in the door, and I'm like, you stupid girl, you dumb. Because when you had your golden ticket to leave, you should have took that and just did not look back. Because I'm gonna be real with you, if it was me.
What about the fam though? What about the fam?
Nope, I'm out.
She probably thought about her brother, honestly. That's the only thing I could think of.
And here's the thing, I get that. But
that's the only thing I think that probably kept her there. If he wasn't there, she probably would have took off.
But I think she's like 18 too. I'm like, you could have.
I think she was 15 at the time. I don't know how many years have passed since season 1.
Well, no,
but,
they all happen right
years.
They all happen right next to each other because so. I don't think that. I think the only thing, if it is a time skip, is just a summer. It's probably maybe a year tops.
Oh, okay, she's probably like 16, 17 then.
Right. I'm like, you could have convinced a judge. I'm like, you could have got a judge for you to take care of your brother.
I think she liked Wyatt too. I think so. I don't know. There's a whole bunch. Well, she was gonna run away with Wyatt. So.
Nah, I'd have been out.
Which is also pretty sad. Like Wyatt is not supposed to be. He is what Ricky is in Boys in the Hood to Ozark. Like he is not supposed to be here. Like, Wyatt is too smart for this. He don't need to be here. He recognizes everything that's going on. He sees it for what it is. Yet he still can't escape any of it. Like it's crazy. Like. It's
yeah, but then he started hooking up with Darlene, and that's when I was just like, all right, I'm gonna head out.
I kind of, it's funny because like that duel, I think this all happened in season 3, right?
When he hooked up with Darlene?
Yeah, he actually slept with Darlene.
Yeah, that was his current season.
But it's crazy. So you see it that way, right? You see it as like, that is this gross X, Y, and Z, right? But Ruth isn't that much older than him, and she's sleeping with Ben, who is probably at least 40 years old. But nobody has an issue with it, which is the funny part. That's the part that kind of threw me off. Like I was like, this is terrible, but I was like, oh wait a minute, Why do I have an issue with Ben doing this?
But that's culturally though. With our
But
society,
yeah,
it's just like.
That's the irony of it all. That's why I was like, this is insane. I was still kind of grossed out, but I was like, I shouldn't be grossed out. It was just crazy.
Like, that's... Well, no, Ruth is older than them.
Nah, Ruth is, because Wyatt was 17, Ruth was 19, I think.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. And like, now she's probably like 20-some years old. Like,
then that would mean Wyatt is 18. That's what I'm saying. So and if that's the case, we shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that big a deal.
Listen,
but it is.
It's still.
You see,
it's still
but that's
weird.
The point. Yeah, it's like it shouldn't be that way, but it still feels weird to me too. Because I was taken aback, like, wait, is this is really happening? The more part that kind of caught me off guard was like, you killed him and then just brought in another dude, like, in the same bed. I'm like, yo, this is wild.
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. Darlene foul.
It's pretty crazy, man.
Darlene is so foul. Like she straight up was like, oh, okay, well, I know the fact that like I killed my husband of like a decade, over a decade, but yeah, like I'm going to still sleep with this kid basically, and it's like, and then the crazy thing is, I'm also then raise a kid.
Say it one more time.
I'm also then raise a kid with the baby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I didn't even think about it that way.
That's nuts.
That is definitely nuts. Oh my god. She's raising a child and then she's sleeping with the child.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, what is your problem?
She just wanted something new, I guess. She was saying, because I remember them walking one time. It's like, who we gonna give all this stuff to? And I guess she chose Wyatt. So
I mean, yeah, like she chose.
But the other part is she took in Wyatt and Ruth too by the end of it, which was kind of crazy.
Yeah,
and it kind of, and if you think about it, I don't know why that didn't happen earlier. Like they blemish. What's the word? They mix so well.
Which,
like the brash anger is Ruth all 100% of the time.
Yeah, this is true, but I don't think that's what Ruth needs to be tied up into. I think Ruth would do much better with Marty, because Darlene would get her killed. Now let's go. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, she tried it. It just didn't work. They killed her loyalty to them pretty much. They didn't do nothing with Frank Jr.
Okay.
Almost killed her.
And that's funny you mentioned that, because I was gonna bring that up. I said let's kind of talk, because we kind of skated over this a little bit. Let's talk about the KC mob, because they was also a factor this season.
Yeah, like it's you don't really get to see them as they seem like more just like a ploy, which ain't a bad thing. It's just like they don't really. I don't know. I don't really like the characters like that. I don't like the son. The dad is okay, but I really dislike the son. No, but they seem like a bunch of union workers that just happen to work for the mob. That's what they look like to me.
You just thought these were a bunch of union workers that just work for the mob.
That's kind of how I see them. Like, and you don't really get to see them do no like real dirt outside of him, like the first introduction.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When they were like, "Oh yeah, this is the mob," I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, it's like, all right, your name. But it is like,
but the thing
you ain't doing nothing out here.
But it worked so well because historically the mob was tied into the union. Even in historically in American history, the unions were like thought to, like, especially like Jimmy Hoffa, for instance. Like if you do research on Jimmy Hoffa, like he had ties with the unions, with the AFL-CIO, and with the mafia. So like I mean they kind of was like hand in hand and like, you know, history. But so it makes sense. But yeah, like I think this was the season that they really used the mob. And my man, and because the dude that worked over Frank Jr. is the guy that plays, I forgot his name, but he plays somebody in Power. That's why I recognize him.
I think he played one of the main characters. I just recognize his face. Not
he
to
played
say
the dude
that. I think
that
he
rolled
is
with
one of them.
Ghost.
Yeah, I think it's Tommy. I think that's his name.
Yeah, but yeah, like when Frank Jr. worked over Ruth, I was like, dang, bruh, like.
Yeah, I'm like, why would they put this here? Like, I don't know why they just want them to explode on each other, but
but it makes sense because I think it goes with them kind of going to with Darlene and the mob going to war with the cartel and Marty.
Mm-hmm.
And
it makes sense.
Going to war with them, but I don't think the mob is to be trusted. I think I don't trust them at all. Yeah, I don't trust them, and I think next season they might get wiped out by the cartel.
Like, they don't seem that powerful in terms of
but
the
Missouri, they're powerful as far as being in Missouri.
Yeah, it's like that's kind of like because it's their turf, but it's like
the cartel.
It's like, all right, if you do the wrong thing, it's like it's a wrap, fam. Like, it's kind of how I feel. Like, because Marty was like, toward the end there, he was like, you know what, I'm done with y'all. Y'all just pretty much got my highest worker almost killed for nothing, X, Y, and Z, and just left. And nothing happened.
Marty should have did more though. Like, and that was the part that made me upset because I was like, Marty, you know you could do more, and it's like, but you didn't though, and it's just like that's kind of foul.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. I get both sides of it. The other side of it is like, you do this, you start a war, which you don't need, and because you're already in another war. It's like, granted, you probably win this one, but it's like you live here. It's a whole bunch of other variables at play. But yeah, but the fact that he even did that, because Marty's not like this confrontational dude, really, it was kind of shocking that he even did that and just told him off and then just cut ties with him, which is like after everything that happened with them already. So it was like, and nothing happened, which is like, you thought there would be some type of backlash or something from the mob, because like they just cut off millions of dollars pretty much, and nothing happened. So it was like, all right.
Yeah, that really disappointed me. Yeah, like I was like, dang, Marty, like Ruth had y'all back. Like,
I know, like she done did everything. She done robbed, stole. She killed her family for you, and you wouldn't do the same. Like, right? It's like it's insane. Like, and then they killed her dad also. Like, oh my god! And then what else happened? It's just crazy.
I mean, like, not only like she got tortured by Helen for them, and like she just had their back. And I think like you saw that betrayal, but that kind of goes in with what I was talking about before, which is that thing of like, I think season 4 is gonna be kind of that season when things fall apart, where like they gonna have everything, they gonna think they have everything together. And I think in season 4, stuff is gonna really fall apart, and Navarro gonna think, oh yeah, he won that war, or Wendy, however, because if you notice, all of Wendy's plans that she done had, all of them done fell apart so far, with the exception of the casino.
Like the casino worked, she got it done.
That's the only one of her plans. She got worked. The plan that she had with trying to make a profit foundation failed, because that brought the attention of the FBI, which they did not need. That failed.
I didn't think about it that way.
Then also, not to mention the fact that she was like, okay, well, we'll just buy another casino. That also failed. It's like they blew it up and they didn't want to sell it. And that's right.
It
failed. So it's just like every one of her plans done faltered. So that's
Wait.
Every time she come up with a plan, it fails.
Let me think about this. If that's the case, she should have no voice in this life. Like, wait a minute.
But that's what Marty was trying to tell her, basically. It's just like, dude, every plan you done had failed. Every single one of them.
Oh my god,
Like,
she even got the freaking.
you
Well, I
got
don't know if it was
Mason
really
killed.
her. She did get Mason killed, which was
And
unnecessary.
she had that plan.
Still tried to do. She tried to get Mason or get Ezekiel back. I think that's his name, right?
Yeah,
Ezekiel.
and that failed too.
Which is like, it's only gonna make Darlene mad. Which is what you were saying before. I think it's gonna bring up. You're gonna think everything is cool, but the enemies that you've made along the way to get here are gonna come back.
Right, and it's not even the enemies Marty really made. Because Marty
it's all from what she did.
It's all what she did, because every single one of her plans failed.
She killed her brother, which was Ruth's love. She killed her dad. It's just like, it's like, why do you keep ruining her life and she does nothing but help you?
That's what I'm saying. Like, every single one of her plans done failed. So that says to me, like, what's gonna end up happening is the fact that it's gonna be a situation of like the chicken's gonna come to roost, and she is gonna have to pay. She's gonna have to pay for like her for all those plans that she done made that failed. And I think the plan that she had with making drawing the FBI to the Navarro's enemy cartel is going to fail miserably. And they are going and in that same, because I don't think the scene is done. The scene after Helen gets shot, and they doing the
wait, you think that's
again?
gonna continue and somebody else gonna die?
Yes, I think it's going to continue, and they are gonna die, and it's gonna die. And Marty and Wendy are gonna have to fight. They're gonna have to find a way to get the heck out of Mexico.
You say you think they're gonna have to fight?
They're gonna have to find a way to get the heck out of Mexico because Navarro is going to get killed.
Oh yeah, I think that would make sense. That whole last scene kind of threw me too. It was like, I knew Helen was gonna die. I thought Wendy was gonna end up shooting her. But for her to get on the plane, do all of this stuff, build up this paperwork against Marty, and then to die as soon as she get off the plane.
Right. Soon she
in everybody's face. Like, ew, what is happening? That was kind of shocking.
And that's why I think oh dang, it's like 3 people in that window. And that's why I think, like, if anything, like, it's like Navarro is going to end up losing his life at that christening. That christening, he's gonna die, and it's gonna be like, okay, well, I thought you handled this. Well, I thought I did too. And they are very much so still alive, and they're going to kill everybody there. And Marty, yet again, is gonna have to save his wife because she thinks she thinks she is. I think and you see this even throughout the second and third season. She think of herself as something more than she is.
I mean, I think she kind of, because in the beginning she didn't come off as, I guess, like Marty-esque at all, or like business savvy, but seemed like she picked up quick. She was in politics, but
she was in politics, but this is a whole different game. Like Helen even explained to her, like, that's apples and oranges. Like, you talking about, like, this is stuff that's like, yeah, politics, you lose, okay. This, you lose your life. Like, this is not, you playing you're used to a river, but you're in the ocean, and you're trying to play the same games that you played in the river in the ocean, and it's not gonna work. That's why I'm like, I think that the season is going to start and Navarro's gonna die, and because it makes sense that they are in Mexico now and the kids are still in Ozark, and the Darlene will use that opportunity to attack the casino and all their stuff, and the kids are gonna have to try their best to defend it while Marty and Wendy fight for their lives in Mexico to get the heck out of Mexico.
I mean, I think that could be a way it could go. I don't think it will, but that would be interesting if it did. That would be kind of crazy.
Like, and then think about it like this: you will still then, by the time they get to Ozark back home, they now got to deal with the mob and deal with freaking Darlene and the FBI.
Just like,
and Marty, and like I said, Marty done snap too. Like, it's kind of written on the wall that, like, this is gonna kind of be next season gonna be the season where like is when all that trouble that Wendy done created, they're gonna have to fix.
I mean, I feel like Wendy did okay. I don't really think she did bad. It's just, but when you say that, I start to think like, yeah, most of her stuff has fell through for one reason or another.
And that's what I'm saying, like, she over here acting like, oh yeah, she done had all these grand schemes and all her schemes don't work. And it's like, you do understand that every plan you had has failed. Like, I mean, every single one of them.
I mean, it's like, I think the last scene really cool, because like the blood in, blood out kind of thing, where there's like the blood splattered off of it. Which is insane, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen next season. This stuff is kind of hard to predict, at least for me anyway. Like, I couldn't possibly imagine what they have in store. Like it's pretty insane. The fact that even this close or this deep into the car, so after him on his knees about to be killed.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's like he wasn't supposed to get this far. It's like they
from the first season up until now, nah.
Yeah, it's like it's pretty insane that is even happening. Like I still don't know how he's gotten this far.
He definitely got further than most would have thought he would have gotten.
Even the freezing.
But so, what'd you say?
I was gonna say, I forgot I was about to say.
So let's kind of even just talk about like, because you brought up this before. Let's kind of talk about like just how this show is shot, like how it looks, like the camera angles. You kind of brought that up, like the scenery, the music. What's some of your thoughts about it? Thoughts on that?
That's what kind of makes me actually fall in love with the show. Like it's this blue tint that's on all of it. Like it's cool because like at certain moments they take it away. It kind of make you realize the moment that you're paying attention to it. Like there was a scene where Ruth went to the boating thing to try to get her Marty Bird on, so to speak. and like you see the blue tint go away on the back of her head. It's like this bright light pretty much, but then the next time she comes there's no light. It's just straight blue because she just decides to go to do it how Marty Bird did, which was like just con their way into to forcing people into their business pretty much. It's like those type of moments are cool. Like there was another one I love, which is like the trampoline scene. I think it was towards season 1 or 2 where Marty was laying on trampoline. Which I feel like it was symbolic of his life. It was up and down at that point, which it never really isn't, but it was kind of like a metaphor, him just laying on the trampoline. You get to see that trampoline again in season 3, but his children are laying on it, and it's a completely different up and down. It's like these teenage years. It's pretty insane. Like
right.
I really like it. Like it's these type of things. I feel like I'm missing some. I can't think of them offhand, but those are the ones with the arcade, obviously. But always that's kind of like my favorite one. So
I think the shot for me that was like the money shot was the shot with Ben. I always keep going back to that scene because I think that is the most.
Oh, that candid scene.
Yes, you got the most character development of any character in that one moment. Like you didn't know anything about him, but just even in that dialogue and just how he was talking, like you got a sense or a feel for that character.
Yeah. Like it's like you kind of understood where he was, what things mentally, how he thought. It was pretty crazy. And then like even like him when he did that to Helen, he didn't really understand what he had did, which is crazy. Like you figured out all of this and never thought once that they would try to kill you because you knew it. Like, because
oh no, not at all. Like
that's the crazy part.
Like he straight
but that's his
up
character,
just thought,
I suppose.
like he straight up thought like that was a good idea, and it's just like no, sir, like that's not. That is far from a good idea.
I'm trying to think if he had some type of scenes like that. I don't think he really did. He wasn't involved in those.
That's not a good time. But like
yeah, that I think that was that like a reference, like a taxi cab moment, I think, where people usually confess. I don't know.
Yes.
I think that used to be like in the 80s a little bit.
That to me it was. It's just like in certain movies you see that, like that.
Yeah, backseat confessionals.
Yeah, like a backseat confessional, just like how you sit in the back. But it's interesting that it was done. It was done, and the way it was done was really good. Just like how it shot, like you kind of having that conversation with the individual that you may not, that don't really care, but you essentially like talking to yourself.
Yeah, because you never pan off into the taxi driver. It's just always him. that whole scene, which is interesting also. But yeah, and that I really like that one too. I was kind of like, I kind of felt bad at that point. It was like, fam, why did you bring your brother here? But then again, he came here on his own. But it's like you could have just told him he couldn't be here. But then again, where else would he go? So it's like, I don't know, like the birds just seem to poison everything.
Yes.
Like,
Darlene is right about that. Darlene's
like
right about that. Like whatever they touch dies.
Yeah, it's like it was a scene where I think it was season 1 where like the part I think where I was talking about we was confusing each other. Like Jonah was watching a scene on his phone. He was talking. It was a specific kind of bird, and it was he was saying that it ruins everything else, like hundreds of other birds because it eats his eggs.
Yeah, right.
And it kills off the species. And it's like the bird. It was the metaphor for them. It's what they were doing. They just kill off everything good that has anything to do with anything. It's crazy. It'll just ruin things, and it just doesn't stop. It seems like it ruined Ruth. Like I thought that was the one. That's the crazy part. Like after all of this, everything she's done is starting to actually affect her now. Like even her, like, the one bright spot to me, all of this is now not on your side anymore. Like,
yeah, and I think that's gonna be the thing that they regret the most is the fact that like you needed Ruth. Like
yeah, it's like
for all of this to work, and that all of this to work, like Ruth needed to be on your side. And so that's why I kind of feel like, and that's kind of even brings up that even kind of just more evidence of me being like, of my theory of just like, yeah, things are just gonna get bad for them like very quickly.
Yeah, it's like they've never really, outside of the beginning, it don't seem like, well, outside of maybe Ben's death, they don't really seem to suffer the consequences of these things.
Oh, their choices? Oh no.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy to say, but they don't face the worst of it at all. It's like they kind of just dodge and keep it going. Yeah, but it's like but on the flip side of it, it's like, well, if they don't do this, they die. So does that really mean that much? I guess it's kind of weird. Because that was the thing that keeps hanging over, but it doesn't seem like that really phases Marty anymore. It's like that stress is not. I mean, it's there, but it's not like, all right, I'm gonna die.
It's there. I think it's there, but he snapped.
Better at coping with it, or you said snap?
Yeah, I think he genuinely has snapped. Wendy definitely has snapped.
Well, she's been going a minute though. You kind of seen the build up for her nonsense. That was crazy. I still can't believe she's become what she's become. She wasn't supposed to be like this.
She is a monster.
I mean, but at the same time, it's like if you don't do this, and he tells everybody you're all gonna die, you and your kids. So it's like you face with a decision.
But if she would have, if she would have listened to him the first time, it would have worked.
Because technically, Ruth did get him out.
Yeah, Ruth got them out, and that's the thing. It's just like it would have worked, but they just did not want to. Like, she was addicted to power.
Yeah, like she's just that's really, it's like this catty kind of thing. I don't want to say that like in a sexist way. It just seems like she can't let go of things that aren't necessary, which is weird. Like her rivalry with Darlene, it's not healthy for anybody. Like, why would you even want to mess with her? Like, why do you want this child back when you have no place to really even do this? Like, it's insane. Like, why would you want to raise a child in that? Like, it's exactly weird. I don't understand. I don't understand her mind. I still don't, which is really weird. Like, I guess she was into politics, so you can kind of see where the path kind of goes astray. But it's like, I don't understand her beef with them.
Yeah, like it's pretty interesting You know, like seeing just that dynamic with Wendy, and like even in this season when you see her break and she's just going back and forth into the Walmart like store and just getting alcohol, just getting vodka and just drinking the entire bottle in the car.
Yeah, that was
I
like
mean, in the van, and just how depressed she got, and just in that one moment. And the only thing that pulled her out was seeing that kid and her thinking about her own kids.
Yep, it was like, I think it was because she just left her kids behind, and it was like, oh wait a minute.
Yeah, she came to her and was like, oh wait, hold on, I think I need to go home. Like, I forgot what I left my kids involved with. I need to get home.
Yep. Which is
But
crazy.
yeah, it is. It's crazy. Like, but I think, like you said, like I would definitely say like I didn't see a lot of the symbolism you saw, and I saw maybe some different stuff.
Oh, what? Like what specifically are you talking about?
Like, for instance, I knew that there was symbolism with the whole boss. Like, I forgot that the title of that episode was called Boss Fight.
Oh, Boss Fight! Oh my God! Oh, it's so much in there. It's so much.
I didn't think about that at all. I was just
like the whole episode is just masterful. Like, because of that, like, I didn't think about it after the fact. I was like, wait a minute, it's called Boss Fight. He's fighting with his boss. He's the arcade game. It's the boss fight. It's like I didn't. What do you want? He keeps asking these games to try to get him to say something so he can decide to kill him or not, and he just doesn't. And he keeps playing the game. It's like I thought at that point he was going to say it, because, like, you know how in anime they set up people, like you get their flashbacks.
Right.
I'm like, oh no, Marty's about to die. They showed his scene, like he showed his life is over for Marty, but he pulled it from somewhere, I guess. I don't know where or how, but because I'm for sure they broke him. They would feed him maggots. Did. I don't know.
There was maggots. No, maggots just was in the food, but they were pumping heavy metal into the heavy metal music like super loud to make.
Oh yeah, I read up on that too. That's something they actually use to keep people awake, which is insane. They use heavy metal to torture people, which is a real tactic in real life. That's insane. I was like, yo, but yeah, I've seen a bunch of that. I picked up on her pretty quick. Like because the lights are kind of what got me. Because like the cell is this blue tint, but once they cut on the lights, it's the orange light that's reminiscent of the color from the slot that you can quarters in. But that's kind of, and then from there it kind of just played up, and then you get to see him actually. You see all of his coping mechanisms. You see why he thinks the way he does. He knows he can't win the game, but he needs to play to stay alive. Like. It's insane.
Well,
like I think he finally beat the game.
I kind of look at the game as a coping mechanism because he.
Well, yeah, that is too in itself.
Yeah, like that's what I kind of got from it. He got the game because he did not know how to cope with the loss of his father. So he did the only thing he could, and he didn't know how to. And he used to like was said in his marriage counseling that he's a control freak. And that was the only thing that he could control was that game.
Yeah, I think, but I believe you're right. But I think it plays the other way also. It's like him seeing how to run his life. Like he was money laundering, so I don't think he wanted to do it again. I can't remember those episodes exactly, but he did it because they were like, well, look, what if we turn around one day and say we missed the opportunity? And then he starts to play the game pretty much to try to win it. Even I think he lost the game at the end. I can't remember if he beat it or not.
No, he lost it, but he got addicted to trying to win.
You said he got addicted
to trying to win.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much where I think all that stems from. I think that was them trying to show us the parallels and how and why he thinks the way he does. Like because it was a point of it. He was saying that he was trying to tell his mom, like, look, I know how the game works now. I can do this and try to win. Like he was doing certain things to try to rig it out, I believe, at some point to beat it. But he still lost his dad in the end, which was like,
right. It
was this realization, and it flashes back to where he is now, and that's why he still fights pretty much, so he doesn't die, which is like, to me, that's kind of how I took it at least. But it's art, so you can kind of take it.
I mean, yeah, but like I kind of got that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I was thinking of it. That's why when I saw that, that's the first thing I thought about was just the fact of like him trying to It was him trying to, you know, cope with the loss of his father. Like in certain situations, he don't know how to cope.
Yep. Because he was, I think, because he was trying to cope by singing the song, but his mom told him to stop and leave, so he left out and then found something else.
Right. It was that game, but yeah, like it just wasn't working after a while.
Like that. That was easy. And might be my favorite one because that's the one I can see the clearest. Maybe it's because I like games. I'm pretty sure it's more than that. Like the Cubs, I was seeing like with Wyatt and Ruth. Like they were, and toward the beginning they were like really close, and they was like, because for whatever reason they bought the Bobcats, which is like the stupidest thing in the world to me. I'm like, why are they even here? Like I didn't understand it until that night she opened the gate and just said, all right, it's your decision now, and then left. Which is like, oh my god, so this is just a metaphor for them the whole time this season. It's just two cubs in the cage. They're not really cubs, but they're like these dangerous type of things. And they were just there. I think they, I can't remember their name, Bird and something else. They had bought them with the money they stole. And kept them there. And she was like, why did you guys even buy that? It was like, they didn't have no explanation. I think they said they were going to actually try to make them, but they both were males, so they couldn't make them. They just were there the whole season. But they never released them. They were just there up until like toward the end of season or the middle of season 2, which is coincidentally when they stopped being cool, I guess, into a sense. Like the relationship kind of fell apart, which was kind of crazy. And I was like, oh, that was supposed to have been like a metaphor for them the whole time, and I just wasn't paying that much attention. Like I paid attention to them, but I just didn't give it that much credence for whatever reason. But it's like a bunch of little things like that it was so many in the beginning that was flying by that I can't even remember them all. Like, but it's just, I think it's really cool. I don't know the director's name, but he should get something.
I mean, I think Jason Bateman directed quite a few of those episodes.
Like, whoever did that is like
double kill.
Or came up with that stuff is to me is those type of things are like ingenious to me. Like when you can tell metaphors through pictures without talking is amazing to me. Like
I just want to point out the fact that I just got like a 6+ kill with just fire.
That's the power. Huh? That's the power of the fire.
That's ridiculous. Like, at what point was you gonna stop and see that fire and be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't walk over there?
Can't stop.
But yeah, like, I definitely get it. Like, I would agree. Like, there was that it was definitely a lot of things in there that I know it was some things I know for a fact that I didn't necessarily see.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta kind of like, because my eyes are like, I don't know if yours is not saying it's like a I know more than you type of thing. It's just like, I've seen this stuff because of like, I took a college course and like, I don't know, whenever I went to school, I had that course where I could never watch movies the same again. Like, he had showed us like a picture of a woman laying in bed, right? But it was like she was the shadow of the bars of a window on her face. And we were sitting like, we don't understand what this is. It's just a woman laying in bed in a rainy window. It means nothing. She's just there. But it's like, no. He was like, look again. Like, we sat there for about 40 minutes until somebody finally was like, oh, I get it. She feels like she's locked in a cage. I was like, oh my God. And then at that point, I was never able to see pictures in movies like that again. Like, I would always try to pick up on those things. Like, this was like a movie in the 60s, which is even crazier. Like, I never knew that element even existed in movies or just film in general until that moment, which was like, and from there, it kind of like, I always see the things like that.
Right. And that's the thing, and that's the good thing about like movies and film and stuff, which is why I love like reviews and TV shows and stuff, because you can see like certain things, and there's certain things you can see certain things, and like you can understand the message in some stuff, and you be like, oh, okay, this is why they did that. This is the symbolism for that, and stuff like that, and I really like that. But
yeah, like it's amazing to me.
Right. So, and let me ask you this, because we've been talking about it for a while. And I want to ask you, so if you was to grade this season, give it a letter grade between an A being like perfection, A plus being perfection, F minus being like utter filth.
I would never call Ozark these things. It's too much cinematography and like it's too many of that to call it that.
What would be your grade for Ozark for this season?
I was leaning at, I would have said like a B, but the more I think about that boss fight episode, and then the way it ended, it was just like these. I have to. And then you got Ben in his epilogue. I don't know what you want to call it, in his backseat moment. It's like I have to give it the A at least. Like it's just, and I'm not even that. I don't know if I feel that passionate about it outside of like that specific episode, but all of it's just really good. Like I couldn't argue about it pretty much. It's just it's just really good. Like I can't really find a fault per se of anything. Like granted, I'm not really looking for it. I'm kind of just like a fan, I guess, in a sense. But I don't see anything wrong with anything. Like I don't, so I can't really say anything wrong. And then I love the symbolism in it. So
I would say if I
wait. It's another thing like that they do. It's the in the beginning of the episodes, like they put like
the symbols.
They tell you what to look for in the beginning. Like, and people still miss it too. Like they'll tell you that these things are the most significant things in the episodes, and they play them up. You might not see them, but they dress them up for
puzzle.
that.
I don't remember what that's called.
It's a puzzle too? Oh my god!
Yeah,
see,
that's the type of puzzle that like you can actually do, where there's 4 images and you have to figure out what the word. I think you have to figure out what the word is based off of the 4 images or something like that.
That's crazy. But I know that those are like. Those are usually the meanings in those episodes. Like, he usually uses those as like the precursors to like the metaphors in the episodes, which are like pretty cool. So it shows you what's happening, and then you just kind of have to see it for yourself, pretty much, which is crazy. But go ahead.
Right. Okay. If I was to grade it, I think I would probably give it about.
Why are you struggling?
I don't want this. Don't sound outrageous.
What? What you about to say, man? What are you about to say?
It's gonna be outrageous. But
oh my god,
I'm gonna say this deserves an A plus.
Oh no, that's fine. That's perfectly fine.
I'm sorry. Like some people might say that that's crazy.
No, I don't think that's crazy at all. Like, to me, this is cutting it. Like, there's been nothing like this. Like, I thought it was gonna be cookie cutter, just a romanticized drug cartel series again, but no, it is not that at all. Like, it's pretty. The way that they use businesses to explain away so much stuff to me, and like because I love like the financial world, it's perfect. It's amazing. I don't see anything wrong with it. It's too many highlights to add about it all.
Yeah, I would definitely say A plus. Like for me, like it's at that A plus. Like you said, the symbolism in it. Just all the just the acting, like Jason Bateman is amazing as an actor. Like that's the actor that plays Marty. He's just amazing. Like I just like he's really good. I would definitely, like I said, I definitely have to give this an A plus. Like just for acting and how this show looks, it's superb.
Yeah, like I love. I thought I was gonna hate the blue tint, but I ended up really. I mean, I love the color blue, but it's just like it just makes it. It just gives it this dark tone, which it is. So it makes sense. But it's just like I thought I was gonna hate it because it's like I don't want to keep watching something in blue, but it fits so perfectly, and I can't really say otherwise about it. Like that, it's just really a good show.
Yeah,
I was gonna watch it at first. I'm happy I did.
yeah, like it's definitely, like I said, it's a very good show. It's a show that I really like, and I really like it, and I really find it to be a show that's entertaining to me, and it just it's just nuts. It's the stuff that happens in this show is just absolutely nuts.
Yes, like it's this roller coaster that never ends.
Dang it.
I wonder if they actually gonna flip old girl. Yo,
Yeah.
Yume.
So Yume jumped in. What's up? What's up?
What's going on, dog?
Nothing much. Just finishing up. Just talking about Ozark actually. This current season and what's happening. But yeah, like I think, like I said, that'll be my grade, the A plus. Will be what I kind of give this latest season of Ozark. So for you guys that don't know, you or been living under a rock apparently while we've been in this quarantine, we have had Yume playing several games like Persona 5.
Too many games.
I see Persona, freaking what was it, Final Fantasy. There was something else for that too, I think.
Also doing Resident Evil.
Yeah, Resident Evil.
So, what's happening? What you think? What's your opinion on these games so far?
Alright, hold on, let me get going.
Put on a robe.
So, I'll start off with Resident Evil 3, and then I'll work my way up. So, Resident Evil 3, although I've not finished it yet, I'm pretty much like close to the end though. I like it. It's a remake. I mean, like it's a remake of a classic game that everybody loved, and I think they did a good job on it. There are like a few gripes as far as like there's a scene that was taken, not a scene, but what's the word I'm looking for? Area that was taken out of the game.
No.
That was in the original, but like, I mean, you shouldn't let things like that diminish your playthrough. Like, the game is still good. I mean, if you liked Resident Evil 2 Remake and you liked what they did with that game, then you will probably like Resident Evil 3.
So which one would you say is better?
I would say Resident Evil 2 Remake is better for the simple fact that it has more replayability.
Okay.
Resident Evil 3 is a good game. It's just that in Resident Evil 2, you had you had like 4 scenarios, right? Even though 2 of them were like the same people, you had 2 with Leon, you had 2 with Claire. It's just that you had reasons to come back because the story were twisted and a little different than the one that you played previously.
Right.
Now in the remake, they did that same thing, so it's like it's cool. In Resident Evil 3, the original Resident Evil 3 was short. I mean, like what? You beat the game in like 2 hours, maybe an hour. You know what I'm saying? It was short. Yeah, it was a short game. Because, you know, the original Resident Evil 3 was not even supposed to be a main numbered series and a main numbered game in the series.
It's supposed to be a filler arc, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it was. It was supposed to be like a little side game. It wasn't even supposed to be Jill. It was supposed to be somebody else.
Wow,
Yep.
I didn't know that.
I haven't played Resident Evil, so this is all.
Yeah, I played Resident Evil, but I don't
was,
know. I'm not like heavy. I'm not heavy into Resident Evil. Like
it was a
I know
completely
Chris, I know
different
Wesley.
game. It was supposed to be a little side game, and the Resident Evil 3, the supposedly Resident Evil 3 was supposed to come out on PS2 because they were trying to find a way to make a Resident Evil game on the PS2, and the person that made the Resident Evil 2 game was trying to find a way to make one for a Resident Evil, trying to make one for PS2. So like they just tossed the game to like somebody, to another company, and it was like, hey, We need like some filler before Resident Evil 3 come out. What y'all got for me? They built this whole system up, but it didn't seem like that Resident Evil 3 was gonna come out in time or on the PS2. So then they came back and was like, yo, we need this to be Resident Evil 3. So boom, that's when they put Jill in there, they expanded the areas a little more, and they put a whole story in there, and was like, boom, there you go. That's why it's so short.
So is that why? Why was Resident Evil 3 Nemesis? That was the title for it originally, or
that's why it was Nemesis. Originally, I don't think it had like a whole different title. It was some long ass title that's irrelevant now. They just was just like boom, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. They called it Nemesis because Nemesis is the main focus of the of that game, because they came up with that whole
the whole plot
version
of
of
Nemesis
AI where he searches and finds you. So.
Oh,
but like, as far as it really was though. Like, and then you kind of see that when you play the remake, and you're like, bruh, this is what they were really aiming for. Because Nemesis hunts you the fuck down.
Yeah, like I've been watching your gameplay of it, and just like watching, like, bro, like Nemesis just don't stop. Like he's coming for you.
Like,
there is no, oh, I'll go in here and then walk back out and he should be gone. No, you walk out and he's right there. So, okay, but
yeah, like he's waiting on you. Like, hey, yo, come here.
So, you know, that's the only gripe about, a lot of people complain about the remake of 3 because it's so short, and it's like, I mean, what do you expect?
So how many hours did you spend on 3?
On 2? Oh man, shit.
No, I said 3. How many hours did you spend on 3?
3? I don't think I have that many hours in. I think I'm like 4 hours in, 4 or 3 hours in, somewhere around there. But I'm playing on like the hardest difficulty that they allow you to play on, so that's what makes it a little longer.
Oh no, I'm not trying to be that scared.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. A lot of people played it on normal and was like, man, this game's short. But it's like, I mean, if you play it on hard, it kind of like spaces the game out a little more for you, because one, you don't have ammo out the ass. Two hits kill you.
Oh my
like
god.
A regular zombie, 2 hits will kill you. So
oh man,
you have to be very careful, and that's what gives the lifespan of that playthrough like more length to it. Other than that, the other thing that I didn't like about it is that you don't get mercenaries. Mercenaries was first introduced in Resident Evil 3 back on PlayStation. They didn't give us mercenaries. I mean, yeah, they gave us resistance, and resistance is, while fun, it's no mercenaries. I'd rather have had mercenaries. But I mean, it is what it is. But all in all, I wouldn't tell people to not play it. It's fun. It's a good game. It's Resident Evil.
Okay.
It's Resident Evil 2, but shorter. Yes.
So are you going to be getting 4 remake?
Are they just remaking all of it?
That's a touchy subject for me, because I don't really believe that they should make a remake.
That's what I was about to say. Is keep remaking.
You say you don't think they should remake 4?
I don't think they should. It's not time for it. You know, like Resident Evil 4. Next time you get the chance, boot up Resident Evil 4. Whether you got it on PS2 or you got it on the PS4 or GameCube, whatever, just boot it up. The game still looks relatively nice, so it's like there's
no reason
you don't
to do
really need to remake it. I mean, if you want to, I mean, you can, but it doesn't need to be remade right now.
Right.
You know what does need to be remade? There's two other games that could be remade, and that's Resident Evil, Code Veronica.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that was the very first Resident Evil game I played, was Code Veronica.
Yeah. And it would honestly make sense to do Code Veronica next, because Code Veronica is literally the direct sequel to 2. Like story-wise, Code Veronica comes right after 2, because Claire does find Chris, and then they go through like this whole thing with Wesker. Like it competes. So it's like, why wouldn't you do Code Veronica? Why would you skip Code Veronica and go like, what, how many years has it been since Leon on Resident Evil 2 was it like 5 years or something like
Yeah,
that?
because
Like, why would you skip
I
it?
had Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, say, why would you skip all that and go straight to Resident Evil 4? I mean,
But
yeah,
I
it's a
think
fan favorite. Resident Evil 4 was my very first Resident Evil, and that's what got me into the genre.
okay.
But
Yeah,
like, you can still remake Code Veronica. You can go back and remake. You can remake Resident Evil 1. Why
remake,
don't?
remake.
I
Why
would
not
say
give Resident Evil
I would
1?
even say remake Resident Evil 0. Like, I would even say remake that before like 4.
Well, Resident Evil 0 was like the last one to get like dressed up. So it looks even better than Resident Evil 1 does.
Really?
So yeah. So that's why I was like, I mean, they don't have to remake Resident Evil 1, but it's like if you're looking for a game to remake, I think it should be Code Veronica first. And then before you even touch Resident Evil 4, you should do Resident Evil 1.
Makes sense.
Yeah, like, but I know that it seems like basically they're buying time until
The new
PS5
system.
till the PS5 drops, and then bring
I mean,
out Resident Evil 8.
that's also another thing, but I think it's just a cash grab. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
I was about to say that remakes. That's usually what they are. Mostly just cash grabs.
One is a remake, so there you go. 2, it's a remake of a very popular title. Like Resident Evil 4 was like revolutionary when it came out. So a lot of people have played Resident Evil 4.
Right.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I don't want it. But I just think there's other games that should come before.
Makes sense. I never really liked the idea of like remaking stuff. It's like you're taking that nostalgia and it's kind of the same thing for me, at least with nostalgia. It's like it'll never be the same way when I first played it. So it's not like you can recreate that nostalgia. You're just trying to pretty much buy me time, pretty much, or just give me something to do. So
like,
it's like,
oh, go ahead.
well, that's all I'm saying.
Well, like on the subject of remakes, what would you guys like to see remade? It's because we got the quarantine situations and all that jazz, and when all this is over, stuff will be back to semi-normal, I suppose. What would you guys like to see the next remade game to be? In like your favorite franchise, if you have a game you would like
to be remade though. I don't want
I would kind of like to be remade would be Onimusha.
Yes.
You said Evolution?
Onimusha.
Yeah, Onimusha, yeah.
I don't think I ever played that.
A remake or reboot of Onimusha. I think that was a really good series. And they just kind of just left it alone.
What was Onimusha?
It was originally a Devil May Cry game, but it was nothing like Devil May Cry, and it was like, you know what, we should probably make this its own game. It was like Devil May Cry mixed with Resident Evil, and then Capcom was like, you know what, let's just make this its own game. And then
that sounds amazing.
You got Onimusha. Yeah, because it's got like slightly the same combat as DMC, but you're dealing with like demons and zombies. So
it's really good. It was so fun. Like what was your introduction to the franchise?
It was 1 for me. It was the first one I played. It was by accident. I think I was with a relative. Yeah, I was with a relative in California, and they went out to fucking, what was it at the time? Funko Man? Maybe EB Games, one of them.
Oh my god.
EB Games. And they were playing it, and I was like, man, this looks cool, but it scares the shit out of me. I don't think I'm ready for this. Then maybe about like 2-3 years later, I bought a copy for myself, and I was like, man, this is fun, but it's still scary as hell.
I think my introduction to it was Onimusha 3, the one where you get to play with the 2 characters.
I think that was cool.
Yeah, that was my introduction to the series, and I only saw it. I only was like, hey, yo, I'm about to pick this up because it had a samurai in it. And I was like, I'm sold.
I'm gonna say that's pretty much enough for me. You with a sword, they look cool. That's it.
Yeah, because like the one dude that's like the French cop, like he has a whip, but like you get these 2 twin swords of light, and I'm like, dawg, it was
twin
so
swords
sweet.
of light. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was sweet. Dang it.
There's
But
actually 2 other games I would like to see remade too. They're both horror games.
what
And
game?
that would be Silent Hill. I would like a
I was gonna
reboot.
say it was supposed
What's
to be
funny
a reboot. What
is
happened
like
with that?
I figured you was gonna say Silent Hill.
Because that scared the crap out of me. I was like, let me go see what people doing if I play it. I was like, nope.
Yeah. Silent Hill was like that psychological terror, man. Like that
yes.
shit,
Oh
it
my
hit
god. It's a different type of fear. It's like,
so I would love a reboot or remake of that, and then the other game would be Fatal Frame.
What's Fatal Frame?
Fatal Frame is a horror game about these 2 girls. I think they were sisters, and one of them pretty much got lost, and the other one kind of went to go find her. And her only weapon was a camera, and she had to take pictures of the souls of the ghost / demons in order to like do damage to them. And like so, basically, the way to do max damage on the ghost was like they had to get up in your face in order for you to take a picture of them. So like that's where the scare factor came in, because they were like kind of trying to pop up and scare you and jump. But the story was actually pretty good, and then that whole like photography camera thing was actually pretty cool. It was a good game.
Okay.
And a lot of people, it's like one of those like niche games. Like a lot of people don't know about it, but like it was really good. They made like 3 games. Wow. I think it's like 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew nothing about that franchise.
yeah.
All came out on the PS2, I think.
I think if I was to pick a franchise, pick a game, I would want to see Ninja Gaiden be rebooted.
Oh my gosh. Sean still took my Ninja Gaiden. I remember. I gave it to Sean, never got it back.
I would like to see Ninja Gaiden remake because I really like the game. Let's see. I would also like to see shoot, what's the name of that game? Dang it.
I really can't think of it.
It's on the tip of my tongue. Like I can't. It's not coming to me. It's a fight. It's like this is like a action adventure game, and
Banjo-Kazooie?
No, Sly Cooper. Sly Cooper, yes.
Oh, I was getting close.
Sly Cooper. Did you play the 4th one that they came out with?
Which one was that? The Honor Among Thieves?
The very last one they came out for PS4.
No.
Oh, you should get that.
I didn't like. I heard mixed reviews about it. I heard it wasn't good, or like.
Man, if you are a fan of it,
yeah, I don't really care for
if you are a fan of the series, nothing should stop you.
See, like my intro into it was Honor Among Thieves, and when I started playing it, I was like, oh wow, like this seems like it's pretty cool. Like, what is Sly Cooper all about? You know, it piques my interest.
See, like I never played it. I've always like heard about it. So, but I liked the concept of it, and I liked how the main character looked. So I think like maybe like a year ago, 2 years ago, I watched a whole like playthrough of the first one all the way to the movie.
Oh wow, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, like so I would say that like I said, Ninja Gaiden, Sly Cooper, and then I think the last game I would probably pick is a remake or a reboot rather, Spyro.
You said Spyro?
Spyro. Yep.
I thought they already did that, didn't they? Or they just ported it over?
No, it was just ported over. They didn't truly remake the game with a brand new story and everything like that. It wasn't a true remake.
Well,
It was a remake.
It was a remake. Because by saying that, you're kind of saying that Resident Evil 2 was a remake.
I mean, but it was stuff they didn't remake it and like, far as, okay, we're gonna remake Spyro the Dragon. And I guess to me, I didn't look at it as a true remake. Like when I look at Resident Evil 3 and 2, that looks like a true remake.
I mean, they pretty much did the same thing though. Like they took a game that was nothing but freaking polygons and made it visibly pleasing to today's standards. I mean, that's pretty much what a remake is. You would like a reboot? Do you want a reboot?
I mean, maybe it's more of a less of a remake, more of a reboot.
Yeah.
But that's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about X-Men Legends. Since
Oh, yeah,
Marvel
that's
has
pretty fun game.
X-Men back,
That'd be
I want them to redo X-Men Legends and start out and have the game, the remake of the game, deal with Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past. I think I heard of that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, like deal with Days of Future Past. And I think and that would be a great way to start off that game. But what about you, Katie? What would be a game you would think deserves a
Since
remake?
y'all said that, I guess I don't know. I'm more so like on the fight side though. Like I wish they reboot Marvel vs. Capcom and make it valuable again and make people like it. Like if that game sparked somebody, that's where the change was for me. Like,
you're not alone at all. I kind of wish they kind of just went back to the drawing board.
yeah, just like fam, like just be like, look, here's the contract. Let's just make a great game that lasts for 10 years again. Like, just do it again. Like, it don't seem like they didn't have to tweak much, but for some reason they got rid of all the favorites, everything. It's like.
Well, they got rid of all the X-Men characters because of that issue.
Yeah, it's like they had released a statement saying like we didn't think that the characters made that. It was the characters that made it great. It was the movements. It was like, fam, no, people said DOS boots for Doctor Doom every time. Like we love Doctor Doom. I was like, man, every time we did put down,
that's incorporated into my everyday life.
Yeah, it's like that phrase is like. To me, it's worth millions. I don't know why anybody patented it yet, but who died? Like that's all I hear when I see Dr. Doom. Even in real like comics and stuff like that. That's all I see. It's like, but I just wish they redid that though. I don't really play that many action adventure games, of course. Like I used to, but that was kind of like the start of me switching from that to just fighting games for the most part. Mm-hmm. But I for some reason, like the action adventure games don't really entertain me as much anymore. I don't know why or when that happened per se, but maybe I'm just too competitive of a person. I don't know. It just, but I can't really think of anything that's action adventure.
Because like I kind of went more towards like I went more towards fighting games and more towards like games with really good story.
Yeah, like it's.
Before I kind of just like played games, obviously just to play them. But then like the older I got, the more I appreciated a really good story. Mm. So like if the story's trash, I can't finish it.
Right, I got you. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, like that's kind of how I feel too. Like I really like a good story.
Like I don't really. Only like probably The Last of Us, God of War. It's another one I'm missing. Like those are like really good stories to me. Like, but everything else is like, unless I'm already invested in it, it's hard for me to really get into.
I don't know what it is with Naughty Dog, man, but they got the recipe for a game with good story.
I know. Uncharted. Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Last of Us, I think, has by far got one of the best stories, kind of like in gaming history.
Yeah,
I would agree. I would 100% agree with that.
Beat that story.
And it's relevant right now.
This is coming from a Square Enix fan. If I had to choose between a Final Fantasy story versus a Last of Us story, I mean a Naughty Dog story, I'm obviously going to go with Naughty Dog. Unless we're talking about old school Final Fantasy, like between 7 and 10, then it's like up for grabs. I don't know, because those 90s freaking Final Fantasy stories were actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
They were deep. And then, I guess, speaking of remakes,
I was about to say we about to get to it.
You were saying what remakes would I love to see redone, man, and I've already had my dream come true. and I waited 15 goddamn years for it. Look.
So talk to
y'all.
us about a little bit of FF7 without, you know, spoilers and everything.
I'm not gonna spoil. Man. I don't want to spoil this game for anybody. So, the game came out what? The 10th? It's the 15th. I'm on the last chapter of that game.
Are you serious?
Oh my god. Wait,
Yeah.
before you finish, make sure the stream get the 46 Bob my just on receiver. But go ahead.
Man, I just
40, wow.
and I feel like I probably would have been done maybe like 2 days ago if I wasn't actually streaming it for the channel. So
That's crazy.
Crazy.
Do you enjoy it? I'll assume you enjoy it if you keep playing it like that.
I didn't play that game so many times till about like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Man.
I loved it, man.
What do you love so much about it?
As a fan of the series, as a fan of Final Fantasy, we ain't even talking about the series. As a fan of Final Fantasy 7, period. First of all, when you play the game as somebody who played the original, the nostalgia of the original game while playing this game is what hits home. Because just like with Resident Evil 2 Remake, they took people that actually cared about the original game and made a remake. And it's like, as you play it, you just like, man, they really care about this game. They really do care.
All the details.
It's not just for the money. Like, they actually care about this game, and they care that we love this game. So that's how you feel the whole time you're playing it. The music is phenomenal. Like, they have all the classic songs in there, and then they have remake versions of the classic songs.
Oh, they got the dubstep version, the EPM ones?
Some of those, yeah. They do. The graphics are amazing. I can't wait to see what it looks like on the PS5. Because the PS4 is already pushing to make these graphics look really good.
I'll see how they're still kicking. But yeah.
Man, so imagine what it would look like on the PS5. So, and then like they actually cater to the story. Like by far, like I said, I'm on the last chapter. They actually like nitpick and they actually put in very memorable scenes and cater to those scenes and cater to the little Easter eggs and the little tidbits that were in the original and carried it over to this one. The voice acting is great. I love the voice acting. You actually feel what the characters are saying. Like there's some emotion there. It's not like robotic. It's not weird. It's not awkward. Unless it's meant to be awkward. And if it is, that's even better. And then boy, don't let me get started on the battle system of that goddamn game. It is the best battle system that they could have ever had came out with right now.
It's an updated version of the older stuff, or is it just a completely new one?
It's a better version of the older game. Like a lot of people who say it's like Kingdom Hearts. It is not like Kingdom Hearts.
I was
Yeah, I'm
like, that
about to
was
say,
my
like
one
when I
gripe with Kingdom Hearts.
played the demo, I was like,
this
this is not Kingdom Hearts at all.
It is not like Kingdom Hearts. Now it has the action of Final Fantasy 15, but like it still has the strategy of a turn-based game within the battle system.
Oh, that's pretty
So
cool.
it's like the way you pick your moves in the floor of battle is somewhat kind of like it was back in the day. It's just a lot of shit is going on the screen. And then it's like you can do it as fast as you want to. Like you can make the game super actiony if you assign your attacks to your shoulder buttons. That way you ain't even got to bring up the slow-mo menu. Or you can just bring up the slow-mo menu and pick and choose what you want your teammates to do. Like it's the perfect blend. Like it is. It's like you took DMC and you took turn-based combat and somehow you just found a way to make that shit work.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, like when I played the demo, I was having I had to get used to the way that
It's a learning curve. It is
yeah,
a learning
because
curve.
I had never played like a turn-based game like that, so that was like different.
it is a learning curve, and then it's like it just looks better, man. It looks better, and it flows better in your mind versus like back in the '90s when you played a turn-based game and the characters just stood there, and then you just picked attack, and then they ran forward and attacked, and then it was like rock paper scissors between you and the enemy, and that even when you play it, it's fun. But if you was somebody watching somebody play that back in the day, it's boring. It's boring.
I think that's kind of what threw me off.
I don't think I could ever watch somebody play a turn-based game.
That's why I didn't. That's why I never got into it. Like I seen the hype about it, but I watched it. I was like, I don't want to play. So I never got into it.
It is not fun unless you're doing it yourself and you are actually engaged into the story. That's the only time when it's fun. But watching somebody else play it, no. I'll fall. I have went to sleep watching YouTubers play turn-based games. I sometimes I put it on to put me to sleep because I know eventually I go to sleep.
That's
I'm not saying that turn-based combat isn't fun. Have you ever played what name is that game? Dragon Quest?
No.
I didn't want to because of the same reasons.
The latest Dragon Quest is legit turn-based, but it is so fun and so dynamic, and the story is so good that you don't really get bored. You know what I'm saying? So a turn-based game would work now. They've proven that. But the action aspect, the step that they took in this remake was one of the best ideas they've ever had in a long time. Because let's face it, Square Enix was having a hard time making Final Fantasy games for a hot minute. Last best Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy X. Anybody can fight me. Final Fantasy 12 was trash. Final Fantasy 13 was trash. Final Fantasy 15 I actually liked. But it still wasn't, it's not what I'm playing right now.
Right. So I'm assuming the grade you would get this game is like an A+.
I give it an A+ as of right now. I still haven't beaten the game, so I don't know what the ending is. Apparently there's a lot of controversy towards the ending.
Oh no.
A lot of people don't like it. Some people do like it. That's obviously a personal opinion because apparently from what I heard, they changed some things up. And a lot of people are kind of fearing what they're going to do with the second game.
Well, and that's funny you say that because we talked about this before, not on here, but we talked about it before, where you were talking about how basically we got how we only got like half of a game.
We didn't get half of the game, technically.
Well, yeah, like
technically we got 1/3 of a game.
Right, but like what I mean by that is like we got part of a game. We didn't get a whole game.
Midgar.
When?
If you took the original game, right? You took the original Final Fantasy 7. Midgar was literally 1/3 of that game. It was a small section. It took you like probably like 3 to 4 hours to get through it. It's not very memorable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's only because they had technical limitations back then, and they had a due date that they had to hit, so they didn't really get to expand on that area like they wanted to. So, fast forward, they finally got the opportunity to do that, the opportunity to make that Midgar segment look and sound and feel the way that they wanted to make it look like, and that's what we got. But they took that 1/3 of the game. This is where I get the kudos. They took that 1/3 of the game and they turned it into, let's see, this is my first playthrough. I'm 45 hours into the game.
That's crazy.
So a part of the game that was only like 4, maybe 6 hours if you didn't know what you were doing, made it into a 45-hour story. We're just talking about story. I'm not even talking about in-game content.
Oh my god. That's just the story?
That's crazy.
You get your money's worth then.
Yeah,
exactly.
like that.
I'm 45
that's worth,
hours in, and there's still things that I have to do after I beat the game. So, I think if I finish those things, it'll probably take me around maybe like I'm gonna say at least 60. So,
Man,
60-hour game, maybe 80 if you take your time.
$1 an hour?
that's crazy. That's
Man,
not
the game is broke
invested.
up in chapters, and these chapters are long. Like the first what 4 or 5 chapters are each an hour long.
Man,
So
that's
Man.
money works, money
So,
well spent, man.
So right now, like
And I'm
this,
still not done. That's the killing part. I still got 1 chapter left, so I'll probably beat the game at. I'll probably beat the game at, let's say 50 hours.
so let me ask you this: if you could, for us while we on here, pitch this game to somebody who's not a Final Fantasy fan,
I would say, is this a good place to start? If you never
but how would you pitch this game? Like, just do like a
I
drop
would
pitch
pitch
right
this
now.
game
Like,
as
if you was talking,
if you are into RPGs, if you are into JRPGs, if you like a good story, if you like good battle mechanics in your game, if you like action, I would say this is a good game for you. You would like it. That's for somebody who has not played it. But at the same time, if you played the original, the nostalgia is really what gets you. People who haven't played the game, they're gonna miss out on that part. But I guarantee you, if you haven't played the game before, and you decide to play this one, it will make you think about playing the original to see what they changed and what they left in.
okay,
So that's
Okay.
what I would say. You don't have to play the original to know what's going on, but if you did play the original, you would be hit on certain Easter eggs and nods and stuff like that they've added in throughout the years. But you do not have to play the original to understand what's going on in this game. They do a good job of explaining it.
okay. So, yeah, and I think because that's like I told you, like I'm definitely gonna eventually pick up the game. And speaking of,
And even if you even if you did want to play the game before you played this one, you don't have to play the whole of the original. You just really have to play that part that I told you was like 4 hours, and then
Right.
you'll have a huge understanding of what's happening in this game.
okay, so like who is like your a character that they kind of changed some stuff with from the original game that you like a character, maybe like character development or a character story that was changed up from the original that you like.
One of the
Man,
people
like,
that I
did
really
that.
like that they developed, it's actually a couple, but I'll start off with like one of them, and I'll probably go into maybe like 1 or 2. But one of them is Barrett, the big black guy.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand that this game came out late 90s. So Barrett was literally, I don't care what nobody say, Barrett was literally based off of Mr. T. The way he talked, how obnoxious he was, how mad Negro-ish he was.
did he have a gold chain too?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was on it, but he had that hot top fade. He was a big cocky black dude.
Yeah, they really did. They really did go in.
Wow.
The only thing he didn't do was say fool. Like, if he would have said fool, that would have been a rap. But they took that character.
Wow, they went straight
and
stereotype.
They did something that I didn't think they were going to be able to do, but they were able to separate him from that Mr. T stereotype without changing his character. So he's still an obnoxious black guy. He's a black guy. Like he's a stereotypical black guy, but not in a bad way.
Right.
That's the best way I can put it. Like if you get the chance, just watch some scenes with him in it, and you'll be like, wow, how did they hit the nose on a black guy so good? But I'm gonna tell you why. Because a black guy actually voice acts him. So
Oh,
Okay.
so we got the soul to rebrand him.
Yeah,
Right.
so I mean, it's cool. He did a really good job. He sounds like how I thought Barrett sounded when I was a child. Like he sounds just like it. Like it's crazy. All the characters do. Like when you read a book and you in your mind after you learn something about a character, you know what they look like, how they sound, and they like stuff like that.
Right.
It was the same thing when playing this game because they didn't have voice acting in the original game. It was all text boxes. So you had to imagine through dialogue in the game what these
How
people
he was
sound like.
Wow.
And they hit it right on the nose.
Okay,
They hit it
that's
right on
awesome.
the nose.
I pity
So
the
I'm
cloud.
glad that they did that. They made him his own character. It's really good. It's fleshed out, and I like it. Another thing was they took a side character actually that was in the original game, and they actually gave him a whole personality. And it's really cool to see that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay.
And one of the other main staples in the roster, Tifa. They took Tifa, who in the original game you didn't really know what she was like, but they actually took her and they fleshed her out. They gave her emotions and emotions that make sense and controversial things that she had in her heart and stuff like that, and they fleshed it out and it plays out really well. So, and then they made one character as thirsty as hell.
Makes
They
sense,
took
I
a character in the
suppose.
original game. They took a character in the original game that had no personality, no importance, and they made that character the star of the game. I swear.
What?
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
They did her so good. They actually gave her some backstory. You know more about her now. You care more about her now because in the original game, you didn't give two shits. It was just another person to you. But now,
They really gave her a real. Okay.
yeah, man, like they made her a real person, and it's really cool to see it that they actually fleshed not her, but two other people that were in the same group. It was three of them. They were all friends. They did not matter in the original game. Some things happened, and you don't even care. But in this one, all three of them, man, they're all fleshed out. They stick with you. You remember them. It's really good. So, as far as characters, those are the things that I really like that they changed, and I think they changed it for the better.
I'm saying, it seemed like they really redid the game right, if that was the case.
They did, man. I'm telling you, man, they did. 15 years, man. They better have, or it would have been an issue. Square Enix would have got torn down.
I mean,
It
you
would
know,
have
you
been a
got.
riot.
I mean, first off, it was first with Kingdom Hearts. Now, you know.
Honestly, I think that might be me though. I don't. I think didn't you love Kingdom Hearts? Didn't you love it though? I think Dre, or you didn't like it?
I love Kingdom Hearts.
Oh,
I love 3. 3 was, if you look at it a certain way, it was a good game.
a certain way. Okay.
If you look at Kingdom Hearts 3 as a vanilla experience, that means without all the extra shit that Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix had, because that's the reason people shit on Kingdom Hearts 3. They keep trying to compare Kingdom Hearts 3 to Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, and you cannot do that. You can't do that. So that's the issue. If you took vanilla Kingdom Hearts 2 and vanilla Kingdom Hearts 3, vanilla Kingdom Hearts 2 is still kind of a little bit better, but it doesn't make Kingdom Hearts 3 look bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kingdom Hearts 3 still holds up well.
Okay.
Now, with that DLC, I am kind of mad about how they did that, but I still enjoyed it. So, I beat all the data bosses except... No, I beat all the data bosses.
Yeah, I think you did all of them, if I'm not correct.
I just didn't beat the secret boss yet.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but like, I quickly lost interest in those data bosses. I did.
Really?
I don't know if
was
it's
it the rage inducing?
I don't know if it's because I gave up because they were so freaking hard.
Oh man, I enjoyed every one of them, and the more I lost, the more I wanted to beat them.
Yeah, or I just lost interest. But like, I mean, I still got it, and I can still play it. It's just I just started losing interest.
It was just interesting with like how every character you just had to find that one specific way to deal with them, and you had to deal with them all differently.
Yeah.
Shion kicked my ass, but eventually I was able to figure it out and I beat her. So it is possible, and that's kind of like, that's one of the things that I like about the data bosses in Kingdom Hearts games, or the secret bosses in Kingdom Hearts games. They are difficult, but they give you a challenge. And once you beat that challenge, you feel really good. You know how good I felt when I beat Shion and Master Xehanort? I felt really good. Like, that was a natural high that I got from beating them. So,
Okay.
I just gotta beat the secret boss. So, but yeah, man, at Kingdom Hearts, I'm not gonna say it wasn't a letdown. The hype that they had built up for it is what killed me.
It was just too many years that just like, granted, like I didn't like it, but I had like, maybe I just had too high expectations, but I don't think I had any. I was just like, I just wanted the game to come out.
You just wanted a good game.
Cause we were kids, like this. I had like these. It was like a whole bunch of like emotion in the game for me.
Yeah.
And then
same.
like,
It's
then
just,
once it came, it was like,
they couldn't measure up to their hype.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it never really
was way hyper than what they had.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
And then they spoiled some things, and that's what made me mad. Like, that whole shit with Aqua, they should have never showed us that fucking trailer, and I'm so mad that they did. That should have been a surprise.
But I mean, but that's the thing though, like, that game was never gonna live up to the expectations that all the fans had, because it was too long. It was too little.
It was never gonna hold up to the expectations that Kingdom Hearts Final Mix 2 had.
Yeah, it was just
but
like,
I mean,
I had so many emotions.
It was just such a really good game. Like the gameplay mechanics, the story, like
that was the other thing. The battle
story
system
of
was
Kingdom Hearts 2, you went back to the worlds a second time
it was
different
like
stories.
Oh my god!
Like,
yeah,
that was cool.
Yes, I love that aspect. I was like, we ain't going to Rock. I'm gonna see my homie Simba. Like,
now,
like,
I will say that. Now, one thing I didn't like with Kingdom Hearts 3, and I know we kind of getting off on a tangent, but like Kingdom Hearts 3, like I think one of my biggest letdowns was the fact even with the DLC, was the form changes. Like it
was gone.
It was gone. Like I
love that part of it.
That's
like
what I'm saying.
That suit, that nobody suit with the silver. You just randomly like, what just happened? Oh my god! I'm like, you just get hyped.
Yeah,
like what am I doing?
Yeah, the combination of like Oathkeeper and Oblivion and getting that
oh
form.
my god!
Even
oh my god!
Even like when I was playing the DLC and I went into that form, I didn't feel anything for it. I was just like, oh, okay.
Really?
And it's just like,
what? You playing with Oblivion?
Well, I got Oathkeeper. I was not doing all that work for Oblivion. Like,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter.
It's just nostalgia for me at that point.
Slight
I would get
differences,
it.
but it's not, warned if you having to go through all that to get it.
Yeah, but like
it's cool if you do, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and that's why I felt like I was like, dang, like I wish I was slightly disappointed.
I liked Oathkeeper though, man. I used it for a lot of my fights.
I couldn't get it. I just couldn't.
I was switching between Oathkeeper and the Ultimate Keyblade.
Yeah, see, I wasn't going through all that to get the Ultimate Keyblade.
Because I think you had to beat the game to get the stuff. You had to go back through it to get it, right? I think
you have to beat on the hardest difficulty.
The Ultimate Keyblade, no, you could get everything before you went up against the boss.
Oh, okay. So, like I didn't, because I thought that you had to go back to the game again. I'm like, it's all right.
Nah.
But I like those moments though, like when you went to what was it called? The part where you would Roxas get the double blade. I can't think of what it's called. I know you had.
Oh, you thought like you played
Oblivion.
Graveyard?
No, not the Keyblade Graveyard. It was like a dark city you went to. It was just before
the world that never was.
Yeah, like those moments, I just didn't feel like this was there at all in this one. It was just like you went to the graveyard, but it was like that was.
You wanna know what the issue was? You wanna know what the issue is with 3's story? The issue with 3's story is, okay, let's rewind. The thing that Cage 2 did really well was there was urgency in Cage 2.
Yeah, you felt like you were going somewhere. You had to do
like
this.
You had to do these things in order to get to the end game. And then when you got to the end game, it was pulling you towards the end game. You know what I'm saying? The thing with Cage 3 is that, yeah, they were talking about going to get Aqua, but when you were whenever they focused on Riku and Mickey, it was always urgent that Riku and Mickey went to go get Aqua. And Sora had to go get her too. But whenever you was Sora, it seemed like it didn't matter. It was just something you had to do, but it was just, there was no urgency behind it. Sora was just out here bullshitting. Like the whole time. And it was just like, oh, well, you know, Sora gotta regain his powers. But the whole time you're playing it doesn't seem like that.
No, it
just seems like, hey, we're in this town. Oh man, something's going on. We should see what it is.
And it's like, and they come in and just tease you like, yeah, you ain't nothing. You blah blah.
Every time you landed in a world, it wasn't because you were trying to do something. It was because you just landed there and you just so happened to stumble across stuff.
Like it was,
They downplayed the organization. Like the organization didn't really do nothing. They just popped in, spit some shit, and then
did some bars and left. Like
you didn't even fight them. I'm just like,
it just didn't feel. It's like. I think you're right. I think that is exactly why.
That's what it was. It felt like Disney took over.
Right.
That's the other thing. Like you didn't get these cool attacks when you had like these theme park stuff. It's like, fam, this is not why. It's like I don't want them. I used them, but it's only because I was going down some situations. But I was
I didn't use them in my first playthrough.
No, we talking about Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, we talking about Kingdom Hearts.
What up, Phil? I refused to use the theme parks in my first playthrough because it felt cheap.
Yeah, it was like
I'm not even gonna lie. I straight use those theme parks because I had just came from Disney. I had just came from my honeymoon to Disney World, so like I was straight using. I was using the crap out of every single ride that I saw.
Like I know that one.
Yeah, I was like, oh shoot, me and my wife was on our honeymoon. We was on that.
Even with those gripes that I said, I still do enjoy playing Kingdom Hearts. But like when I went back to Kingdom Hearts after after a year of it been out, when I went back to play the DLC and I was playing the game, I started it over. I still enjoyed the game. Is it like my top 5? No.
Right.
It's not my top 5, but I mean it's still a good game. I'd give it an 8. I would give it an 8.
I think I was just too let down to. I really didn't. It was like like I just hate the fact they packed in everything at the back into the game. It was like you said, the build was just gone. It was just like, all right, you come in, here's everything. It's like,
just you wandering around every Disney World.
It's like I didn't. It was weird. I did like some of the swords, though they didn't have anything as cool as the previous games to me in recent years. But I was just too. I think I was just too.
Kingdom Hearts 3 in a nutshell. I can go on and on and on about it. I can defend it and I can shit on it. So.
Well, because we have been definitely on this thing for like 2 hours, so we're just gonna wrap this up.
Okay. Wait, Chris, let me say one thing. So,
no, go ahead.
Persona 5 Royale. You have to play the original one. Play the Royale version. It has bonus content, it has extra story in it, and it's really fun. The first game I think won what was it? Best soundtrack of the year when it came out. That music slapped. Yes, the music slapped in that game. It's so good. The story is so good, but it lost out to something. I can't remember what it was, but it was something that it contended with that was actually really good. I can't remember what it was though, but Persona 5 Royale. If you enjoy anime, if you enjoy JRPGs, that is the game for you. Check it out. It's super fun. It's a long game, so you can put some hours into it.
And we definitely gonna be catching you continue to stream it, right?
Yeah. It's gonna be a long playthrough.
It's gonna be a long playthrough. Okay. Alright,
well, it's a long game.
It's longer than the Persona 5, right? It's longer than regular Persona 5?
Yes.
Do you know about how many hours roughly?
The original one I finished in like 70, 80 hours. So add on
70, 80?
add on like another, let's say like 40 hours.
Ooh.
Yep.
That's a
long
lot.
game, man.
But yeah,
Persona
like
don't play. I love the Persona series.
wow, okay.
I think about the fighting game. I'm not familiar.
Yeah, like I definitely not familiar with the Persona franchise, and you'll definitely have. I would definitely say check out Yume's playthrough of it, if that's what you're into. I said one more thing I will plug. Definitely, I've been playing through Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and yeah, it's definitely changed my mind about the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Yeah. I was about to ask how Odyssey was, because I played Origins, and I enjoyed Origins, but I was still iffy on the direction of it.
Odyssey is very good. I love the first 2 parts of the gameplay that I posted. I was streaming that I was literally in like the very beginning of the game. The game hadn't even technically started yet. Because the game doesn't start until you leave the island. And I was still like playing like the beginning part of the game, which was insane to me. But I love, like, one of the things I hated was Black Flag, like how they were doing like the ship thing, whole ship system and situation. I hated it. And I did not like how Black Flag looked. But this game is like aesthetically just beautiful. And I love, like, even with just the story is compelling so far, and I'm in the beginning of the game. And I love the fact that, like, I really feel like my choices do matter. And all I gotta say is my father all I gotta say, not to spoil nothing if you haven't seen the part yet, but my father about to catch these hands. He's about to catch these hands, no doubt.
I'm glad you say that, because like I swear it was so many times that I was just kind of playing on getting Odyssey.
Well, I would say get it.
I was on Origins that I just wasn't sure if I wanted to or not.
I would say definitely play it, because even in the the April sale that they got on the PSN, you get it. You get the Ultimate Edition, which includes the DLC, all the DLC, and you get Assassin's Creed 3 Remaster and Liberations Remaster. So you getting 3 games for $30. 3 full games. So I was just like, you can't beat that. So, you know, we're gonna kind of wrap it up here. Anything else you want to plug, Yume? That you gonna be playing coming up?
I think I'm good. As of right now, I don't, like, I'm just focusing on finishing Final Fantasy 7. I put P5 Royale and Resident Evil 3 on the back burner because I knew it wasn't going to take me long to beat Final Fantasy 7. And I really wanted to hurry up and beat the game so I didn't get spoiled. The spoilers was out there day one, man, I'm telling you.
Yep, it's like you can't stay off YouTube. Every time thumbnails is there exposing everything.
I swear, the next day I got on YouTube, bro, and I was so happy that I was past whatever they were talking about. Because I was just sitting there like, oh my god, I would have got spoiled. So I just wanted to hurry up and get through this, especially because I already played P5 Royale, and I know P5 Royale is going to take a minute to get through. So I was like, let me go ahead and knock this out. I probably got maybe like 2 more episodes of Resident Evil 3 Remake to do. I know I'm close to the end on that. So from there on, it's just going to be Persona 5 Royale, and that's it. until further notice.
All right, that's what's up. Anything else? Anything else, y'all? Anybody else got anything they need? When they want to plug? If they playing or whatnot, or maybe streaming?
Y'all want to get bopped and Tekken?
I was about to say, look out for some Grand Blue.
Oh yeah, that too. Y'all somebody been on, so I'm like, I ain't really even been playing Grand Blue.
Okay.
Dog, they decided they wanted to drop Jita and fucking what Torres.
My man's onesie.
Yeah, man, they want to drop them as I'm waiting on fucking Final Fantasy 7 to come out. I'm like, nope, not today, Satan.
All right, so that's what's up. So, like, with that being said, we're gonna kind of wrap it up here because we are super over. We over 2 hours in. So that being said, we will see y'all when we see y'all, and check out all our streams: Persona, Resident Evil, Final Fantasy, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I also will be finishing Sekiro eventually. Because I'm
Catch us
still
on
not
Twitch at Save Point Plus.
Yes, that is where Yume will be streaming, and I will be on YouTube. And continue to check out our Facebook page with all kind of updates and stuff like that. And yeah, with that being said, we will see you when we see you. Peace.
I gotta get some.